right.
10 seconds.
Great.
When planning the road to success, there are a few steps to keep in mind. Identifying and solving the cause, facing and embracing change, goal setting, and being accountable. We'll talk about this today on Sustainable Success with Chris Salem. New and healthier habits lead to prosperity in all areas of your life and business. Now, here's your host, Chris Salem.
Well, welcome everybody. Hope everyone is having a great start to the month of February. We hope the first month of the year you started strong. Again, if you have any questions in regards to any goals that you are working on for your organization or personally, feel free to reach out to us at Sustainable Success at chris@christophersalem.com or chris@sustainablesuccess.net. Myself or anybody on my team will be happy to assess anything that you're working on that will be able for us to provide some great insights to help scale your revenue and your brand to the next level. Today's show is being brought to you today by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types, an opportunity to meet new people for the first time, or in this case, perhaps rekindle old relationships from your past. This is a membership program, meaning that you have access to a wide array of different membership services that you would normally not be available to the general public. And it also features an athlete's corner that is available for professional athletes that are making a transition into everyday life, an opportunity for them to bond with other athletes to make that transition seamless. Feel free to check them out for more information at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. We also encourage any of you that are new to Sustainable Success, you found us here at the Voice America Influencers channel. We also encourage you to follow us on Apple, as well as our Facebook page at Sustainable Success 2017. That was the year back in May of 2017 where we were born, and we've been here ever since. So we highly encourage you to check it out. We've had many of our great guests sharing their words of wisdom and insights over the years that will help elevate your business, your personal success and brand to the next level. Well, we have a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about from 9 to 5 to thriving entrepreneur and best-selling author. This is someone I personally know, and she's, taking the time out of her busy day. In this case, where her day is late in the day here in the UK, she took time to be away from her family to be here with us. Her name is Sabine Matheru. And before I introduce her, I'm going to give you a little background about Sabine and all the great things that she's doing. You're going to find out more about her books here because she's going to share a lot of great content to help you either move the 9 to 5 into entrepreneurship and perhaps, publishing your own book, amongst other things that she's going to share. She's a business startup and growth strategist who works with female coaches, course creators, consultants, and therapists. She has been in business for over 10 years and has been coaching leaders and creating training programs all her life. Her coaching and consulting journey has led her to build a large audience through her TV show, networking events, and social media collaborations. She has authored 3 best-selling books with the 4th one on the way, which you're going to learn today, and helped over 1,000 women start and grow their business within the past 5 years through her masterminds, one-to-one online courses, and membership programs. She has also run a consulting firm with 50 coaches and over 100 courses via memberships, webinars, live training from across the country, serving corporate 6-figure contracts on training and consulting. And without further ado, we welcome Sabine Matheru to the show. Hi, Sabine.
Hey, thank you so much, Chris. I'm super excited to be here today.
We are so excited to have you here. And we always like to kind of maybe, when we have these stories about from 9 to 5 to thriving entrepreneur and best-selling author, maybe perhaps if you could share with us your personal story journey from the 9 to 5 into entrepreneurship. And, what was that process like, for those people that may be listening that could be saying to themselves, hey, I'm looking to really make an impact either in my corporation or I'm looking to transition out perhaps to do my own business.
Yeah, I think this is interesting, especially if your audience is listening in, they are still in corporate and they maybe are thinking about doing something on the side or jumping ship. I've seen it both. Now, the reason I actually didn't plan to become an entrepreneur, I really didn't. The reason why I became an entrepreneur is actually through my family. Now, as you can imagine, I was already a high flyer in a corporate job, working with large organizations, and I was flying around Europe mainly as a consultant, and I was living out of a suitcase Monday to Friday. That was my lifestyle. And I just couldn't sustain it anymore because I had two children. Obviously, I'm a mom and the kids were so young. And I thought, you know what, I just won't be able to see my kids grow up. What can I do? And because I was already working as a consultant, I was already delivering the things. I thought, well, I could do this on my own. I could probably set up and sort of do the same things in corporate. That's how I really started to actually offer the services. And that was project management, process management, lean consulting, that kind of stuff. And I was working alongside an organization that does Six Sigma lean for 6 years. That was my first sort of stretch in entrepreneurship. And then I thought, how can I remove myself from actually having to be in boardrooms and in training classrooms live? Can I leverage my time and get more clients on board, but actually work less hours? That was my question. And so I embarked, it was about 2014, I remember that quite clearly, embarked on this journey of going online and searching for a solution. Oh boy, I was in for a treat and opening a can of worms actually, because there are so many things out there online, build a website, branding, social media, and I got completely lost and overwhelmed. And I was watching all these YouTube videos and reading all these books, and I just didn't get anywhere. So to be honest with you, I wasn't a born entrepreneur. I thought I knew it all because I was a project manager. I knew my stuff, but getting into entrepreneurship was literally jumping into the cold sea of water and realizing, ooh, this is tough. So my mission now, and this is the reason, because I'm very much a processy type of person. I like to think in boxes, in simple systems, actually simplifying things. That's what lean management is all about. It's about simplifying and making things work more efficient. And so that was my mission when I started. After a couple of years of really learning about everything online, I was like, gosh, I don't want anyone else to actually having to go through what I went through and sort of going around in circles and not knowing what they should be actually doing and what's important and what's not important in business. And that's where I started my masterminds. That's why I'm just providing a shortcut from A to B to start off and not having to make the same mistakes that I
Wow.
made.
Wow, that's a fabulous. I love your background, project management, lean management. You have these principles, like I said, it's a process to kind of simplify things, make more efficient, which I think is valuable experience that you brought from your corporate upbringing, into the entrepreneur space. Because a lot of times people that get into entrepreneurship, they don't have that structure. They don't have that way of thinking, or sometimes they don't have the discipline, and they're just kind of, I guess the term is they're throwing mud at a wall and seeing what sticks, and that approach is sometimes can cost you a lot of money and time. And so this is something. So if you could talk a little bit about when you shared your backstory, you talked about that. You talked about that, hey, this was what originally when I got into it wasn't what I thought. It was, I had to learn, and like we all do. And so talk about some of the things that you've done with the masterminds and how they not only have transformed your business, but also transformed you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, so first and foremost, again, I didn't think I was going to run masterminds. So my business was geared towards serving corporates. And by the way, we've done the 360-degree now through the pandemic. I now have a training company that does just
Yes,
that.
we're going to, I'd like you to share
that
that later in the show today, because that's very about the empowerment portal. We want to definitely talk about that.
Which just goes to show though, Chris, and in between I've also authored some books. I mean, this journey is not linear. It's not like I'm planning to do this. All of a sudden you have another idea. And this is what entrepreneurship is all about. It actually lets you be more creative. And I think perhaps if I'm thinking back to my corporate job, maybe I was a bit hampered in terms of my creativity and how I wanted to actually move projects forwards and the ideas that I had. And I just felt like perhaps I was boxed in a little bit, because now it's like, oh, I can do anything. But it is definitely having to actually jump over your own shadow, because, quite often we can be in our comfort zones. We're doing this something like 9 to 5 is like we're doing it in, day out, right? Where we're just in the same sort of routine. But entrepreneurship is definitely, all of a sudden you're wearing many different hats, and you need to add so many different skill sets to your avatar, including hiring people and obviously managing people and looking at budgets and all that kind of stuff. So definitely from a personal development point of view, this is like skyrocketing your skill set, definitely. So that was number one learning. Number two learning is, so in terms of the masterminds, I mean, I tend to start to work with women, because my passion is helping women, have a voice. And for me, it was a bit about women's empowerment and getting women's gifts out there as well. And that was why I actually wrote the books with quite a number of spiritual women who actually do a number of different healing commodities. And, there's spiritual entrepreneurs that are really shining a light on what we need right now. I knew that in the pandemic, when that happened, it's like, right, people need healing, people need mental well-being, physical well-being, and those are the people that I'm bringing now into organizations. But the challenge is that they don't really know how to communicate with the corporates and how to actually express what they actually do and what it would actually do for individuals, because it's a bit woo-woo. So I think that I kind of created that bridge for myself and really understand where they come from and what their challenges are. I've always been a natural coach. So I've always coached, but even when I was working with consultancies, I was always the person who was training, someone who, people could talk to. So I have this natural kind of ability. So it wasn't new to me in terms of, yeah, let me create a mastermind and do some training courses. Of course, technology was a big thing. How do I put the stuff together? Yes, I knew how to do PowerPoint. Yes, we all know how to use Zoom nowadays. Back then, 2015, remember, not many people knew about Zoom and all this technology and websites and all that kind of stuff. And another thing I learned is, my husband, bless him, he's a graphic designer. So he actually thinks in creative terms. And when he does things, he does things very thoroughly. So he made me actually become a perfectionist. But in essence, it kind of hampered me, because I thought I needed to have everything together, like perfectly branded website, all the links working, all these programs already ready, payment links, everything else. And I did all that, but it took me about a year and a half or 2 years to actually create it before I ever launched anything. So don't make that mistake. If you do that, don't make that mistake. Just be imperfect. Just go with it. And that's what I do now. I just decided today, oh, I'm going to do a webinar on Tuesday. I just put it in the description. Boom. Tomorrow's going to be promoted.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome. I love it. And also, like, all these things that you went from corporate, to entrepreneur, and you're obviously still in corporate, you do a blend of both. What would you say, like, having books? I know I have an international best-selling book. I've been collaborating in other books, and I've collaborated with Jack Canfield in the past. Why is having a book really important? Whether, again, if you're an entrepreneur or even in corporate, but you're looking to make some impact, you're really looking to make a difference. Why is it so important to have a book?
So let me give you a bit of backstory about the books that I wrote. They're not ordinary books. These are collaborative books where 75 men and women actually share their stories. So the idea was actually to create a platform for them to be able to have a voice. And I also realized how many people actually want to write their own book, but they just don't know how to get started, or they may not know what to write about. And the whole publishing thing may be really overwhelming. The marketing side of things are overwhelming. And there I am, the project manager, And I thought, well, I am going to pull this together. And by the way, the idea just came out of nowhere. I woke up one morning, turned to my husband and said, I think I need to go and write a book with 100 stories, inspirational stories. That's why I said, obviously 100 stories in one book, that would be a big Bible. So we decided to cut it into 4 different sections. So hence we're talking 4 books, 3 are already out. First one, by the way, was launched just 4 years ago today, which is crazy. I can't.
Congratulations.
And so we're celebrating, and that's great, because those 25 women that were in the first book, we're still good friends. We still have collaborations. Again, it was about pulling those people together and being able to share their stories, and so that they have a voice and a platform. Of course, the book is now it wasn't a New York Times bestseller, because you need a lot of budget and a lot of marketing behind
Oh
it.
yeah. And there's a process to do that.
and a big audience. But it does help actually warming up your audience. It does help you to position yourself as an expert in the field. And it's definitely a great business card, even going into corporates. Because actually, I got a big contract just because I had my book in my pocket when I had an interview.
Yeah, no, it's so true. I always find for speaking opportunities and even consulting things, when you have a book, and that could be like a foundation around a lot of the things that you do in helping companies or even individuals, whatever that may be. It definitely really, that's where I guess they always say maybe the book itself will not make you millions, but the book will make you a million. It'll help open up the door for other things that you're doing, so to
Yes,
speak.
absolutely. And it is about establishing yourself as a thought leader in your field. And it is about, pushing boundaries, or doing some research around what you enjoy doing as well, and bringing those aspects into the world.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. I love sharing that. And I know the audience really appreciates people. What would you say would be, because we're going to be going into break in a few minutes, Sabine, and then I'm sure when we come back, we can elaborate further, but what would be somebody that's listening right now that, again, they're looking to make that, what would be that first step that you would maybe, or, maybe just something that, what would be the first thing you would recommend that they do to embark on this journey to either write a book or step out to do something big in their industry or in entrepreneurship?
I think before you do anything or invest any time or money, really get clear on why do you want to do this, and where do you want to be in the next 3, 5, 10 years from now.
Yeah. I think that a lot of times we find here at Sustainable Success, a lot of people reach out to us and say, God, I wish I should have planned before I did. I said, well, yeah, because sometimes there's what we call life in business, which can distract you with new opportunities and shiny object syndrome. And you start this, and next thing you know, you're going down a rabbit hole somewhere else. But when you have a plan, a vision, a purpose, like you said, it just keeps you on track, which absolutely is 100%. We have about a minute left till the break. What would be anything that you'd like to summarize, or any other statements to support what you shared with us here in the first segment?
I think one thing I would say is just be you, and don't be afraid of sharing you, because quite often, and this was me when I was in corporate, I had a mask on, and I wanted to please others, and rather not speak up. And it taught me a lesson. Like, just be you.
Be you. I think that's a strong way to conclude our first segment till we go to break. And when we come back, again, we're listening from 9 to 5 to a thriving entrepreneur and best-selling author with Sabine Matheru. Again, if you're just joining us, you have an opportunity to listen to the show in its entirety here later today, on demand at the Voice America Influencers channel, as an addition to Apple and our Facebook page at Sustainable Success 2017. We got to go to break, everybody. When we come right back, we got more to come with Sabine Matheru.
All right, perfect. All clear. Back